All right, y'all. Welcome. Today's guest is none other than Patrick Chan, the ultimate skating legend and Canada's most decorated male figure skater. He went from wobbly blades at age 5 to winning Olympic gold in 2018, all while breaking records and while the rest of us are just trying not to faceplant. That's me for real.
Hmm.
Now retired and living the good life in Vancouver. He has swapped those triple axles for real estate deals, but still finds time to mentor young skaters and champion mental health, obviously a cause near and dear to Pallavi and I. We cannot wait to dish on his epic journey and find out what he's been up to since hanging up those skates. And just a fun fact, y'all, Patrick and I met on a blind date, kind of, sort of,
Wait,
right?
wait.
We did?
Wait. What is this story?
I love how Patrick's like, did we? Are you sure? Technically, his wife and I met on a blind date,
Wait. What?
but
This is
he
just getting
also
more
happened to
like
be
interesting.
I know. I'm more confused.
Patrick's wife slid into my DMs when we were both pregnant. And she was like, "Hey, a neighbor told me that you're due around the same time as I am.
Yeah.
Like, would love to meet up." And so we invited Patrick and Liz over to our patio, and that was our blind date.
It was like a blind
Yeah.
double date.
Yes.
Yes,
Got it.
100%. And it was really lovely for what it's worth. But that's how Patrick got into my life. On record, that's the last time somebody has slid into my DMs was your
Okay,
wife.
wait. Speaking of sliding into DMs and communities and dating, I have to know, Patrick, before we get to
Yeah.
actual figure skating, who is fucking in the Olympic Village? How much of that is going on?
I can confirm nor deny that happens. Look, I will say that there is condoms like freely given out everywhere. Like
Very good.
you
Because I was
can like
concerned about athletes getting STDs, in the middle of their
for sure.
competition.
Yeah. Like yeah, you can load up on condoms, that's for sure. Um they
That's
provide you everything. Um but yeah, it's more so the summer games because there's
mm.
like triple the amount of athletes and
Oh,
then way
true.
more testosterone going around like with those athletes. Like they're all juiced, right?
Yeah,
So
winter is such a boner killer, like in
No,
yeah,
general. So this
no,
is
no.
we're all bundled
Wait,
up, right?
can we just stop? Because the Winter Olympics are my favorite Olympics. I look forward to them so much more than the summer because every single
Interesting.
event is fun to watch, like every single one. And you can just have it on. I know people felt that way this year about the summer games. It was like a lot of fun new stuff, but my sister and I always used to look forward to the Winter Olympics.
Good.
Figure skating was a big part of that, though. So, I mean,
that's
that's you,
true.
Yeah.
Patrick.
Yeah, winter doesn't have like fucking steeplechase. What the fuck
Yeah.
is that, and why is that an Olympic sport? I get it. I get it. Okay, so Patrick, you're born in Ottawa, correct?
Yes.
So you start skating at a pretty young age, 5 or 6, if my research is correct. Now, I get it. In Canada, anyway, this is a big time for, Kurt Browning. So we have some male representation in figure skating, but I'm curious, even when you're taking lessons and you've got coaches and you're that young, what are the gender representations there for you? And are you the only boy getting into this sport? Is it majority girls?
Yeah, I would say majority of the time you're a minority as a boy. It depends on the rink. Like I've been to local arenas where there's like four boys, right? And that's a real good like number
Good
for
number.
figure skating. But oh my God, like triple the amount of girls than boys most of the time. And it's really interesting. Like I've experienced both where I was like, I think when I was really young, I was the only boy most of the time,
Mm.
maybe one other. And then as I got older, I started seeing more like male figure skaters, male influences, um, at, at my rink, in Toronto at the cricket club. There was where actually I met Liz for the first time when I was like 10, right? And she was like 16. She was like part of
Wait,
the older group.
what?
Yeah. Yeah,
Wow.
And
yeah,
she
yeah.
slid
You
into
know the
his
story.
DMs. No, just kidding. Just kidding. So inappropriate.
15 years later,
Yeah.
15 years later, not when I was 10. And like she was part of this group with all the older kids and they were pair skaters, right? That's the discipline that she did and her group was mostly pair skaters. So there was a lot of male influence there. And yeah, it totally I think I grew up with more female influence for sure. Like
Mm.
way more like and the change rooms are very like co-ed. Like there's no boys and girls. It's just everyone together. I remember like girls changing in front of me and just like it just teaches you certain things like really at a young age of just like just how to act properly and not
Yeah.
be like an immature
Respect.
boy.
Respect
Yeah, and respect.
boundaries.
Hmm.
Exactly, exactly. And I'll never forget, and it still haunts me to this day. Like I was like a horny teenager, and like
Yeah,
I
cool.
remember
Me too. Me too. Me too. Me too. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
hugging a friend, like a friend, not a random like a girl that I grew up with. And I think the way I hugged her really made her uncomfortable. And she like turned around and was like, dude, like back the fuck off.
Mm.
Like that's not okay, dude. And then I was like, I'll never forget that moment of just like, oh my God, like there are boundaries, right? Like just
Wow.
because we're like every day see each other and we're like close and like, we're really touchy-feely. There's like moments where you don't cross that line.
So
Yeah.
it's good like Me Too training like before
Ugh, I
before
don't
that.
know though. Figure skating is like pretty bad, honest. Like there was a guy recently, right? Nick Sorensen, he got suspended for 6 years because of a incident in like 2020, no, 2013 or something, like when he was 23. So I don't know. Like that's the thing with skating. It's like we're such an it's a very you're tapping into your emotions. It's very
Mm.
sexy. It's very
It is sexy.
it's
Yes.
very beautiful people like
Yeah.
around you. So
Yeah.
I think it just can be an environment that can be bad in the sense of
Mm.
like, people taking advantage of each other, people in positions of power, coaches,
Mm. Hmm.
taking advantage of their students. Like that's so very common, unfortunately.
But I think we're talking also about like influence and respect, which I like, we're all from some kind of Asian immigrant household here, and those very values are are in there. So I'm curious
Mm.
how much that those dynamics played into your early athletic career.
Yeah, my parents were not very, I'm an only child. My parents are older parents and, very, I'm a first gen, like Chinese born Canadian, I guess. And my parents immigrated to Canada. Um, Luckily, my dad was immigrated at a younger age, so he was a little more like we call it like westernized. And then
Hmm.
my mom is still very traditional, Chinese, really is like pro China. As as most first generation immigrant families experience, you have a bit of this barrier with your parents of like you don't really know how to talk about feelings and puberty and crushes, and so there was a bit of this like disconnect
Mm.
where I relied more on my skating peers to teach me, life lessons and like social cues. So as an older person, I've like later in life, I find that was a bit stunted, my social like intelligence, because I just didn't have like close family members who were just like tapped into that and knew how to like navigate all of that. I just felt like I was kind of like a loner loser sort of where like it just took a while just to like catch on to things and like just how to be like just be cool.
Yeah. Oh my God. Preach. So related. Wait, so does that mean that your figure skating journey was largely self-propelled?
No, my parents for sure pushed me when I needed to be pushed. I definitely took most of the responsibility and like I obviously wanted to do it, but there were moments where my mom was just like had to be we paid for the lesson, we paid for the ice
Yeah.
time, so you
Hmm.
got to do it.
Yeah.
And for sure got moments of like my mom coming out to like the glass and just like banging on the glass because I'm like chit-chatting with some friends like on the ice. She's
God,
like,
this is so relatable right
Oh,
now.
that's
Yes.
so
yeah. She's like,
good.
time is money. Come on, like
Yes.
this wasn't cheap.
Yes.
Like you gotta less chit chat, more skating. So my mom was extremely involved. If you ask other people, looking in, definitely too involved, especially near the end. My mom had a huge influence for sure in my skating career.
Okay, all of this tracks so hard.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense. I think that social stuntedness thing where you're having to
Yeah.
learn how to be a human from your peers is probably what a lot of us experience. I also felt like a
100%.
loser. I know you were the cool girl view, but I felt like a
Oh
loser.
God, am I talking to two losers right now?